Open 24 hours a day. Both locations will be available throughout the winter storm for anyone needing a warm place to stay. Again, we're going to hold that there for just a second so you guys can write down those addresses for Wayne County Sheriff's Office and Jasper County Community Center. Meanwhile, the field house for the homeless says its warming station is open right now and it will be available 24/7 through the cold. You can stop by, warm up, and stock up on winter essentials like coats, blankets, and a hot beverage. That address is 5712 Highway 49 South in Hattiesburg. Both field house shelters plus an overflow shelter are also open. And if you need a ride, the field house is offering transportation to its shelters. Just call the number that you see there on your screen. That number is 601-325-4808. And they'll make sure that you get into a safe place. And we have a running list of warming stations and shelters available on our website. We'll continue to update it as more shelters open. And now, if you're wondering about school closures in the Pine Belt, we've got a full list of closures that we know about right now. That's on our WDAM News app. Just open it and the link is right on the home page, and the link is also running across the bottom of your screen right now. And as we get closer to experiencing winter weather here in the Pine Belt, electric companies are sharing tips on how you can stay warm while saving a few dollars. Leaders with the Pearl River Valley Electric Power Association say it's important to keep your home insulated, and some of the most overlooked places are the cracks around the windows and doors in your home, and those areas are relatively inexpensive and easy to seal.
One of the main things that you can do is that you can caulk and weather strip around windows and doors, because you want to try to keep that warm air that you're generating with your system inside the house, and anything that you can keep inside the house from escaping will help you save money on your power bill.
Leaders say crews will also be ready in the event of the winter weather if it causes any power outages. We also caught up with Mississippi Power today. Leaders there say preparation for this week's forecasted snow and sleet started several days ago, and crews are on standby for whatever the winter weather brings.
Over the past week, we've been weatherizing our generating plants, inspecting our transmission and distribution systems to make sure our system's in the best operating manner that it can be in. Our teams are ready, they're prepared and experienced, having worked previously around the country in these types of conditions. In addition to that, we've got another 200 resources coming in tonight, being prepared to roll out tomorrow morning to help our teams shift and restore service as quick as possible.
And White asks folks to be on the lookout for crews across the community, and if you see power crews on the roadside, slow down and give them plenty of space. All right, Pine Belt, again, now's the time to prepare for this cold weather. Protecting your pipes is one of the most important things to do this time of year. Doing some of these simple steps could save your pipes and the money in your wallet. Well, running spigots and faucets on a trickle is essential to minimize the risk of water freezing in your pipes, and you can insulate your outside exposed pipes by wrapping them with old towels. Another tip, open the cabinets under your sinks to help warm air circulate around them.
Protecting your pipes could save you thousands upon thousands of dollars, and it is very rare. I don't know if I've seen it since I've been here at MEMA. We're not going to get federal assistance from a winter weather event like that. So don't rely on any type of federal assistance coming to you if your pipe burst in your home.
MEMA also has more information on how to protect your pipes. Just go to msema.org for more information.
All right. All right, maybe Nick can help me out here. We're under the first alert weather day from today all the way through Wednesday. And Nick, if you go ahead and change the graphic for me. There we go. We have a winter storm watch in the blue, a winter storm warning in the pink. The counties in the pink: Marion, Walthall, Lamar, Forest, Perry, Greene, George, Stone, Pearl River, and Wayne. Now, if you're in the watch, you still have a chance of getting snow. Simpson County, Smith, Jasper, Clark, Covington, Jefferson Davis, Lawrence, and Jones. You're under a watch. Everything begins about midnight tonight for the watches and the warnings. Again, I think the snow may start falling a little later on, but One more time, Nick. There we go. But what we need to watch out for is bitter cold weather. It's going to hang around for several days, and we're watching for the potential for heavy snow well after midnight tonight. Of course, as Nick pointed out, there's already ice puddles out there already. So if anything happens to freeze over, especially after the snow, it's going to become just an ice sheet again because the air is going to be so cold. So if you can get to work, get to it. But if you don't, stay off the roads. All right. These are the current readings, mainly in the lower to mid-30s across the board. 32 in Soso, 35 in Bassville, 35 in Petal, 32 in Purvis, 33 in Beaumont, 34 Waynesboro, 36 in Columbia. All righty, here we go. Here's a look at the commute forecast again this afternoon. About 39 at 4 o'clock, and maybe starting to become cloudy at 5 and 6. But the temperatures very chilly. Again, 33, 35 at 5 o'clock, 31 at 6 p.m. Bet you get a green light, but there's no weather problems, just the cold in case you don't have a heater in your car. And that's the way it's looking right now. And remember the 4 P's, importantly enough. I think the first one should always be people. Check on the elderly. Make sure they have a nice, warm place to go, or warm at home, or make sure if you know someone who is unfortunate, needs a place to stay, help them find a shelter, something like that, and let them get some food. The last thing I'd worry about in this list is plants. You've got a plant outside, forget that. Pets, you got to worry about your pets, especially your inside pet, but you got to remember your livestock as well, and they need food and water as well. So make sure they have unfrozen water. And essentially, you can forget the pipes too at this point. We already had some severely cold weather here. There are 2 models that I like. I like the American, it's okay, GFS, but I really prefer the European model. But they basically are kind of agreeing today, so that's a good sign. We'll probably get some snow. Again, here's the forecast. Again, a first alert weather day in effect from today. That's because of the cold. Tonight or after midnight because of the snow, and into today on Tuesday because of the snow, and then finally cold again on Wednesday. So this is going to be about a 3-day event around here. All right, so let's move on and show you the next graphic, and I believe it's the forecast. Yep, it is sunny and cold. It doesn't look like a winter storm is on its way, but it's gathering to the south and west of us. We got to keep that in mind. Today's high, maybe if we're lucky, 41. Winds north at 5 to 10. Now overnight, it's going to, this is what the official forecast is. Snow developing after midnight, low around 23. Nick and I were discussing earlier, as I said earlier, he thinks it'll be between 3 and 7. I think that's probably if we get any snow start falling. First couple of flakes may fall at that time. But the snow will get heavier throughout the morning, tomorrow into the afternoon, I do believe. And finally, one more graphic, 2 more. The afternoon, tomorrow, snow, 2 to 4 inches possible. This could change. I think Nick was right. We'll barely get out of the low 30s. We may not even get to 33 tomorrow, maybe 32. And look at the winds north at 10 to 25 miles per hour. But I got a surprise for you. We got all this cold weather coming up. 14 Wednesday morning, 42 by Wednesday afternoon, 18 by Thursday morning, 45 by Thursday. But look at this. After all this cold, we warm from a low of 40 to a high of 67 on Sunday. That's going to be a big change. Nick?
Hey Rex, I know that's one of those things where we've got a lot going on here in terms of the snow. So with some of the snow totals in the area, you can see that once again, this is going to be focused along and south of US 84. That includes the communities of Waynesboro, Laurel, of course Collins as well. All of you south of US 84 have the greatest likelihood in seeing the highest snow totals in the area. That's because of the particular setup that we look for that is normally ideal for snow setups here in South Mississippi that often requires the center of the storm system to be well to our south in the Gulf of Mexico. So hence you can see the higher totals we see right here. Advancing forward, this is why we have snow occurring as we speak. This is an upper air sampling of what is going on here. And what you notice is that it's blue. It's consistent throughout. If we were to have what's called a melting layer between the cloud decks up above and the surface where we are, if we were to have a melting layer, we would have a different type of wintry precipitation, not known as snow. It would be known as either sleet or freezing rain, depending on where the melting areas are. But as you notice, we are below freezing all the way down, and that is precisely why we will have snow in the area. With all this snow being quite a concern, especially with that Gulf low I was talking about, a lot of the models indicate those heavy totals off to our west, and of course here in the Pine Belt as well. Regardless of what totals we will see here in the region, this is a major event where snow can cause issues regardless of where you are in the Gulf South. That's part of the reason why we have this impact index listed, right? When it comes to snowfall and this Gulf low, we want to make sure that we are standing by and making sure that we know what the snow is capable of. It can bring various hazards. It's going to bring brutally cold temperatures. Not only the fact that we have the snow, but also the fact with the snow being here, it's not going to be, we're going to be well below freezing more likely than not for significant portions of the daytime. Even when snow is falling, we are going to notice that it's not going to melt. We don't have any time for it to kind of dismiss as we make our way forward there. So we need to be mindful of the potential hazards that the brutally cold temperatures, the wind chills that are even colder than the ambient air temperatures, and of course the potential for snowy and icy roads. With us staying very cold here in the Pine Belt, be mindful that there are already patches of ice that developed this morning. Some of them may melt. However, if they're in a shaded area, they will be a lot slower to melt today, even before we have any of the snow falling here as well. So all things considered, you notice that the hazards and the risks are here, and of course the roads may be hazardous with all of the snow that's on the way here. But as I wrap here, you notice that we're going to be over 40 hours below freezing with these very cold temperatures already in the Pine Belt.
All right, thank you guys. And taking a brief break from your winter storm coverage for developing news, Lamar County Sheriff Danny Regal is confirming a 5-year-old girl died Saturday morning. Here is what we know. The sheriff says the 5-year-old was shot once. The weapon was found at the scene, and she was at home on Cameron Road in Lamar County with another sibling. Regal says the sibling called the mother and the mother called 911. He tells us no adult was home at the time. Regal says the department is ruling it an accidental shooting. Her body was sent to the coast for an autopsy, and he says this incident is still an ongoing investigation. The owner of a local bar and grill had his initial appearance Sunday in Forest County Justice Court. He's charged with manslaughter in connection to a December death investigation. 65-year-old John Folks received a $100,000 bond. Folks was arrested Friday and charged in connection to the death of 25-year-old Garrett Pitts. Now, you'll remember Pitts was hit and killed by a vehicle in front of John's Bar and Grill on Highway 49 on December 29th. According to criminal affidavits, witnesses at the bar the night of the incident told law enforcement that folks used a type of spray on a group outside of the bar, including Pitts. Then they say Pitts backed into traffic. And it's important to note those affidavits represent only one side of the story and recount their versions of the events. As the temperatures continue to drop, dangerous road conditions are to be expected, and MDOT is asking for your help in keeping other Mississippi drivers safe. Below freezing temperatures, snow and ice are in the forecast for this week, and MDOT leaders encourage you to stay off the roads during the hazardous conditions. But crews have been hard at work preparing Pine Belt roads for what's to come and will do so for the rest of this week.
Crews will be out in force today. They'll be treating basically all of the state-owned bridges in the area, as well as some known trouble spots like hills and some curbs that we know can accumulate ice. If you see these crews out today, we ask you to just please slow down and give them plenty of room. A lot of times they have to travel at a slower speed in order to treat these bridges, so please just give them the space that they need to do their job.
And MDOT reminds you to watch out for black ice, especially at night, and eliminate distractions like cell phones when you're traveling. And if you do not have to be on the roads when the snow starts to fall, slow down. Or if you do have to be on the roads when the snow starts to fall, slow down is the best way to reduce your risk of a crash. And if you haven't done a quick check of your car to make sure it's prepared, the Mississippi Highway Patrol says do that today.
Weather moves in, just make sure that you have proper tread depth on your tires, proper tire inflation. Make sure that you have jumper cables or a jump box in your vehicle, just in case you or somebody else may need assistance. And also make sure that you've checked your battery beforehand. That way you know yours is good.
Another piece of advice, stick to as many surface streets as possible on your drive because bridges and overpasses will be the first to freeze. With dangerously low temperatures settling into the Pine Belt, staying on top of animal safety is the Hattiesburg Zoo's top priority. Ellie Davis got an inside look at how they're keeping their animals safe.
Possibility for snow, the risk of ice, and extremely low temperatures. Residents and animals alike are getting ready. Zookeepers have spent the last few days adding space heaters, heat lamps, or heat mats to indoor spaces and moving outdoor animals into warmer enclosures.
So the first thing we do is actually look at how cold it's going to be. Some of our guys they're really cold tolerant, others like the giraffe, not so much. So we really look at the temperature range. If it's going to be extremely cold, like the cold that we're going to get now, we tend to sort of prioritize where we need to move some of our animals that maybe need, if it's going to be a long period of cold, maybe need a little bit more space than their typical holding.
And when temperatures drop, there are some animals that require more immediate warmth than others to avoid severe cases of hypothermia and even death.
Any of our cold-blooded guys, so our tortoises, our snakes, any of our reptiles, they really need the heat in order to be able to maintain that body temperature. Also our giraffe, which have this lovely giraffe barn, so they're pretty nice and toasty, but these, the giraffe, if it's lower than 50 degrees, they tend to not do so well. Other than that, our birds are also a concern.
And Moore says that none of this would be possible without her staff.
I have an awesome team. I mean, they work very, very well. We're super prepared. All of our animals should make it just fine.
In Hattiesburg, Ellie Davis, WDAM 7 on your side.
And remember, frigid temperatures are not only dangerous for exotic animals, they put your pets at risk as well. MEMA says bring your dogs and cats inside during this week's winter storm. That is absolutely critical, they say. And if you can't bring them inside, Mississippi law requires adequate shelter for pets, and you must provide a warm, enclosed area for them. Dog houses should have a raised structure, a solid floor, and a flap covering the entrance. And if your pet is whining, shivering, or stops moving, bring them inside and get help immediately. Those are signs of hypothermia. All right, Pine Belt, let's talk school closures. Dozens of individual schools, districts, community colleges, and universities have announced closures for Tuesday and Wednesday. So let's take a look at some of them now. The Laurel School District, Jones County School District, Wayne County School District, and Wayne Academy, George County School District, and Perry County School District will all be closed both Tuesday and Wednesday. The Forest County, Lamar County, Petal, Richton, and Covington County school districts will be closed Tuesday only, but that could change depending on the conditions. For higher education, the University of Southern Mississippi, William Carey University, and Pearl River Community College have all announced closures on Tuesday. Again, this is just a few of the school closures in our area. We have a full list of closures that we know about right now on our WDAM News app. Just open it, and the link is right on the home page, and we're updating it as new closures coming to our newsroom. And with all those closures in mind, we're going to check back in with the weather.
All right, thank you, Carrie. Well, first of all, we'll take a look. First of all, we're under a first look weather day for today through Wednesday. I'd like to show you maybe a couple of sky cams. Look how beautiful and blue the skies are at Petro Nissan, 35 degrees, but it feels like 26. Pine Belt Honda and Pine Belt Jeep Ram and West Hattiesburg, 35, feels like 26 degrees there too. In Jones College, 34, but it feels like 27. But I guarantee you, we are under a first alert weather day for today, tomorrow, and Wednesday. Today because of the cold weather, tonight and tomorrow because of the snow, and Wednesday because of the snow and the cold. So we got 3 days of this to go through. I think Nick said 41 hours of below freezing temperatures. All right, here's the latest winter watch and winter storm warnings. They begin at midnight tonight. Simpson, Jefferson Davis, Covington, Smith, Jasper, Jones, Clark, and Lawrence, you're under a winter storm watch. That means conditions are favorable for the possibility of some winter type precipitation in the next 36 hours, I believe. All right, now here is the winter storm warning. That's Walthall, Marion, Lamar, Forest, Perry, Greene, Wayne, George, Stone, and Pearl River counties. And we're probably all going to get somewhere between 1 and about 4 inches of snow. That's just what I'm saying right now, and I think Nick would agree with me on that. We got 3 things to worry about. Bitter cold weather, no question about that. Heavy snow is possible, definitely well after midnight. And of course, you got to add that icy roads. As Carrie said, or somebody said in a package, make sure you use the most traveled roads you can. That probably reduces the ice a little bit. Anyway, so we'll look at the current readings across the area. Low to mid 30s, 33 in Soso, 33 in Seminary, 33 in Oak Grove. That's a pretty popular number right now, but it's jumped up to 37 in Columbia and Foxworth. But I guarantee you, this is all going to come crashing. Now, we may hit 40, 41 today, and you thinking, it's a beautiful sunny day. What are you talking about? A winter storm coming? Well, there's one coming, all right. Here's your commute forecast. I think the clouds will start increasing later during the commute forecast, and it will be cold, but you get a green light, no problems, unless you don't have heat. All right, here we go. The main 2 things I want to point out on this are pets and people, especially elderly folks or folks who may not be capable of finding something more. Make sure you get them to a warm place, and make sure you get them food, and make sure your pets have food and some warm place to stay in, and even your livestock. You can't forget about your livestock either. These are the 2 models we generally go by, and they both are kind of agreeing on the snow we're going to get. So again, here's your first look weather day for today, tonight, and tomorrow. So here's your forecast. Again, I know it doesn't look like a winter storm is coming, but it's certainly on its way. Overnight, we'll see snow developing after midnight. I think Nick and I agree it was between 3 and 7.
Roughly, yes.
Yeah, roughly somewhere. And but it'll be heavy during the day tomorrow. I do believe if this forecast works out, and we're forecasting snow, 2 to 4 inches possible, maybe an inch in some places, maybe 5 or 6 in others. You just really don't know. I think, as Nick pointed out earlier, I agree. We may not even make it to 33 tomorrow. We'll have a north wind at 25 miles per hour tomorrow. That's going to really add to the chill factor. All right, here is your 7-day forecast, and I've got some good news for you folks who don't like all this cold weather. Today, obviously, because of the cold. Tonight and during the day, Tuesday, because of the snow. And then Wednesday, because of the what's left over the snow is going to be ice. But look at Sunday, a high of 67 degrees compared to a low of 14 degrees on Wednesday morning. We go from a low of 40 to a high of 67 on Sunday. That's just an amazing change.
Well, the light is at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, it is.
We have a ways to go in terms of this event, and yes, obviously we do have to wait and see what happens Tuesday.
Yeah.
But all things considered, with that warming trend, it will eventually arrive. We're just going to have to wait for it.
It may not be the end of winter. It just may be just a quick warm up, and
it is still January.
It's still,
right.
And
Yes.
we got February to go through.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
You never know.
All right, it's going to be a wild week of weather for the Pine Belt, and we know everyone's excited for snow and want to see how you're making the best of this Arctic blast. I know it's going to be hard because this is dangerous weather, but I know there are going to be some kids who are going to be so excited. So send us your pictures.
Me too.
This guy, Kid at Heart, is going to be excited. You can submit your pictures and videos using the WDAM 7 First Alert Weather app. It is a super easy process, Pine Belt, and you might use them. We might use them in our newscasts tomorrow. So just scroll down and select submit your photos, and you can also send us pictures and videos on our website. Of course, you know that's WDAM.com. All right, guys, that's going to do it for our winter storm special. Our next newscast is going to be at 5 o'clock. So thank you so much to Rex, and thank you so much to Nick. As always, we appreciate you, and please this week, stay warm and stay safe.